show how Psalms chapter 2, it's regarding King David and not the New Testament Messiah. Uh, I'm gonna make this real quick. Well, chapter 2, Psalms 2, verse 1. It says, "Why do the nations gather, the regimes talk in vain? The kings of the earth take their stand, and the princes conspire secretly against Yahweh and against his anointed. Let us cut their cords, and let us cast off the ropes from ourselves. He who sits in heaven will laugh, the Lord will mock them. Then he will speak to them in his anger, and in his wrath he will terrify them. I myself have anointed my king, which is King David, Balak the Wat, over Zion, and my holy mountain," which you can read this in 2 Samuel chapter 5, verse 7. You see in Sinai, it's in that time it's city of David, right? All right, verse 7. "I am obligated to proclaim." Now this is what it's saying here. This is a decree of David, right? What is established. Now let's get that in 2 Samuel chapter 7. Start off in verse 12. "When your days are complete and you lie with your forefathers, I shall rise up after you and your offspring, who will issue from your loins, and I shall make this a kingdom firm. He shall build a temple for my sake, and I shall make firm in the throne of his kingdom forever. I shall be a father unto him, and he shall be unto a son unto me. So that when he sins, I will chastise him with the rod of men and with the afflictions of the human beings. But my kindness will not be removed from him as I removed it from Saul, whom I removed from before you, and your dynasty and your kingdom will remain steadfast before you for all time. Your throne will remain firm forever." In accordance with all these words and all this entire vision, so did Nathan spoke to King David. All right, that's a cut right there. You know what I mean? We see that it's talking about see that he is the begotten son. It's talking about in Psalms 2, and you see his kingdom established. Through his sons, that it's gonna be forever. All right, let me see. Let's go back to Psalms 2, chapter 2. Let's see. Verse 7, we left off. Okay, that Yahweh said to me, "You are my son. I have begotten you in this day." Now we see right here, it's being implied that calling him his son, right? Which in Hebrew is Banai, Ban. You know what I mean? Let's see this over here in the Hebrew, because the whole chapter is in Hebrew. And, let's see, it's verse 7. Yahweh, Amar, which is said, or appoint, right? Aliyah, Banai, or Ban, son, right? It's verse 7 right here. The Hebrew word is Banah, for son, which is King David. Okay, Now we know who the begotten Son is. All right. I have begotten you in this day. As for a possession, you will smash them with the iron rod. You will shatter them like a potter's vessel. And now, O kings, be wise and be disciplined, O judges of the earth. Serve Yahweh with awe. Now, the Hebrew word for awe is yerah, right? It means to fear or morally, reverence. All right. That you may rejoice when there is trembling. Yearn for purity. Now, in the KJV English, they translated kiss the sun, right? Now, the word yearn, in Hebrew, it means, give me a second. Let's see. Let's see. In the Hebrew is verse 12. Nashak, right? Nashak, which means to gather. It can mean two things. It can mean to gather or to arm, right? To touch or to kiss, right? Now, the word they translated, that he used properly is right here. It's the Hebrew word for purity. It's bar, right? Which the Stones got it right. The KJV they put sun, which bar in Hebrew does not mean sun, right? But in Hebrew, in Aramaic does mean sun. But this whole chapter is in Hebrew, not in Aramaic, right? We see here in verse 12, we see Mashak wa bar, right? And bar in Hebrew means purity or cleanness, right? All right. So, they got it wrong in the KJV because they did it for their own convenience, right? To try to justify for their own agenda. You know what I mean? Lest he grow wrathful, and your ways to be doomed. For in a brief moment his anger will blaze. Praiseworthy are all who trust in him, right? We are to trust the Most High, right? Most High Elohim, and His name alone, right? All right, so that was a chapter right there, showing you that it's about it's regarding King David and how they in verse 12 how they misspelled the Hebrew word bar, right? They put sun, which is supposed to be purity. We got it right here in the Stones right here. And you could precept, the word bar in Hebrew with the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 25, and also in Psalms, chapter 18, verse 20. You'll see the word bar, give me cleanness or purity, to pure. Right? All right, Shalom. Barak Hashem Yahweh Lakad. Hallelujah.